My name is Tracy, and since day one, when I was a little kid, I had issues with dairy and wheat, gluten, eggs, sugars.
Meet Tracy. She couldn't eat dairy, wheat, gluten, eggs, and sugars, and she wanted to stop her uncontrollable flatulence.
No, I didn't have uncontrollable flatulence.
Okay. This film is about how one man helped her family and myself with all the things we couldn't eat.
My son, he's now 2.5. He was born prematurely at 32 weeks. From the moment he was born, he was in the NICU and he was on a ventilator and he had to be intubated. So from day one, he's had breathing issues. His lungs have been underdeveloped, and that's been a constant for him. He's also had severe skin eczema, and his sensitivities to food were so bad, and it was to the point where if someone had come into my house and eaten the food and then touched my table and I didn't fully scrub that table with soap and water, if he came along and touched it, his whole body would turn into what looked like a 3rd-degree burn, but it was just a giant rash from the reaction he was having. My husband has had some food issues as well. His biggest thing is shellfish. He used to, when he was a kid, be okay with shellfish, and then he developed an allergy to shrimp and crab, lobster, all those shellfish that taste so yummy. And if he ate it, instantly within minutes he'd be running to the bathroom because he'd be vomiting.
What did you decide to do?
So I heard about somebody in Vancouver that had something that lots of people were raving about that was helping people with their allergies and sensitivities. So we decided that we were going to give it a try, and we went to go see what he could do for us. And it worked.
Who is this guy?
Rich.
Rich?
Rich Ralph.
Rich Ralph.
Yes.
My name is Rich Ralph, and I'm a holistic nutritionist.
What do you do exactly? Do you cure people of their food allergies?
No, I don't cure. I don't treat, I don't prevent, I don't diagnose. What I'm doing, my goal is to help a person's body come back into balance with respect to whatever stressors it might be reacting to.
We've heard of so many people who are not able to eat things like gluten. Is that what you call a food allergy?
It can be, but it could also be a sensitivity or an intolerance. I can't make that diagnosis. If you want to receive an official diagnosis of allergy, you would go see a medical allergist. They would check your blood to see if you have antibodies. Now with that in mind, a lot of people come in to see me because they're having reactions. They don't really care if they have the diagnosis or not. The fact is their body is reacting to something.
Do you think more people have food allergies today than in years past?
Definitely. I mean, that's statistically been proven. We see there's a dramatic increase in allergies around the world. I know when I was in school, peanut allergies were they were around, but they were really rare. We didn't have to worry about what we brought to school. But these days, I mean, I have a little girl growing up, and I've seen lists. You can't bring peanuts to school. You can't bring this. You can't bring that. The list goes on and on. So allergies are dramatically on the rise.
Then I told Rich that I can't eat a lot of things. Meet me. For the past 10 years, I can't eat a bunch of things. I can't eat carrots, can't eat corn, or anything made with corn, and I can't eat Indian food, or practically anything with curry in it. Oh, and I'm also lactose intolerant. If I eat any of those things, so I asked Rich if he thought he could help me.
Well, if your body is having reactions to these different foods, those are just symptoms. So if your body is expressing symptoms, that just means there's an imbalance going on inside. Once we work to get your body back to a state of balance, it will fix itself of whatever symptoms you might be experiencing. So I do believe that your body is very capable of overcoming whatever those symptoms are.
Enter one of Rich's methods. Bioenergetics. Wikipedia defines it as a field in biochemistry that concerns energy flow through living systems, whatever that means.
So with bioenergetics, I'll be using different acupressure points throughout the body. A lot of people have heard of acupuncture. This uses the same sort of channels, but there's no needles involved in this. I just have to touch different points to send information through those energy channels in the body.
So Rich offered to start the first bioenergetics session right there in his office. But I had my reservations, as did Tracy.
Before I saw Rich, to be honest, I was really skeptical. I really didn't think that it was going to work. Initially, we actually went because of my son, and from seeing how much it helped him and just the amazing turnaround that we saw with him, I was sold on it.
So Rich and I got started with his strange bioenergetics machine.
He had this contraption is the best way to describe it. And it's this little box hooked up to these probes. One of the probes I held onto with my hand, and then two of them he held onto with his hands. And he'd put them on different points on my body, one of them being like between my nose. And it kind of lights up and he holds it there for a second. And then that's kind of it. The process is about 15 minutes total. He does spots from like the tip of your nose down to your toes, and that's all. Then you go home, and magically I was able to eat the foods that I couldn't eat before.
I was suspicious that it could be that easy, but I felt, well, if it can work for her, maybe it'll work for me. So after 2 more sessions of this and 3 weeks of mostly an organic diet, I was ready to test myself. Well, I'm happy to report that I tested myself. I tried corn and carrots and all these curry foods, and I had no reactions at all.
That's great. I'm happy for you.
I did, however, try milk. I know we didn't tackle milk specifically, but if we had to tackle that, how would we go about it?
Well, the approach would look basically the same as how we addressed everything else. If you're having a reaction to milk, we need to rebalance your body with respect to the stressors that are influencing it. Once your body is balanced out with those stressors, it will fix itself. Your body will heal itself of whatever reactions, symptoms you seem to be having.
And what kind of stressors might exist? Is it different stressors for different people?
Yeah, everybody comes in with different stressors, different reactions, so different foods can be different stressors, environmental things can be stressors.
And I have to say, even though I didn't exactly get how this thing worked, Tracy and I are really grateful to be able to eat all those foods we couldn't eat for years. And she's especially grateful for how things are now with her son.
Things have drastically changed for my son since we've been seeing Rich. He can now eat whatever he wants. There's no limitations. The other big thing for us that we've really noticed a difference that's changed for my son is his breathing. Since it's probably about December, he has only made one trip to the emergency room, and that's a huge difference for him compared to those every 3 weeks. We've even traveled to Mexico with him, which prior to this, we couldn't travel anywhere for fear of there's no food for him to eat. What if he gets sick? And we were able to go with no concerns. He was able to enjoy everything there. So things have really changed for him and for our whole family.